Hey guys, it's Nija. So we're about to talk about parasite hopping real quick. Let's get these angles right. Parasite hopping. So I was watching TikTok today. And I don't know why I always do this to myself. You guys really have to be careful about these platforms like TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff. Because what is happening right now is people have entity attachments. You guys already know this, right? What is an entity attachment? An entity attachment is when there's like a spirit or energy signature that follows certain people. Okay, for example, now this is an extreme example, but I want you guys to understand what I'm talking about. Let's say somebody has the spirit of pedophilia on them, right? They're into kids and it's wrong. That is an inorganic program or entity attachment that has latched itself onto somebody, and it is coercing that person to maneuver in a way that is inorganic to the person's natural state of being because of the entity attachment. Another example, let's say somebody is extremely jealous, right? But jealousy is an inorganic program to the individual, right? It's an entity that latches onto a person and can coerce them, change their organic algorithm to make them act and maneuver in ways that they wouldn't organically act because they have entity attachment. Okay, we're talking about entity attachments. So when I was on TikTok today, and I'm only bringing this up because this platform is sweeping not just the nation, it's sweeping the world. And it's sweeping the world because it can, short form content, because people's attention spans are so short, it doesn't take long for energies to be transferred through these short form content. Now I should give you guys some context of why I'm talking about this. I don't know how, but I've made it to the corner of TikTok where it's very divisive. And it's very clear that men hate women, and it's very clear that women hate men. Okay? And all the content that I see is men hating women, and all the content that I see is women hating men. Okay? And all the content that is being reperpetuated is women are all gold diggers and men cannot be trusted, they're manipulative and they just want me to use my body, blah 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 blah, right? And so there's this narrative going on in the collective, and I understand why. I mean, we have been perpetuating these behaviors to each other. We've been triggering and traumatizing each other, right? And so we're at war. The masculine and the feminine is like, who's worse to who? Who's worse to who, right? And so why am I saying this? I'm talking about the entity attachments. So I want to explain to you guys how this works, even though I already did, but I do want to show you a physical representation of what is going on right now and how they're using platforms like short form content platforms like Instagram, like TikTok, to transfer energies very quickly by getting people triggered very quickly. By literally, these entities can attach to you through your device just through you viewing something and having an opinion about it. It is kind of grooming your perception. Okay, we are all blank computers when we come into this world. Think about a baby. They don't know any better. They don't know that they hate men. They don't know that they hate women. They don't even know how to be. Everything that we know about life has been programmed into us. Okay, I digress. I have a whiteboard. Let's talk about these entity attachments. So let's say here's a person right here. Okay, and this person has so let's say this person, they're clean, they're pure, their auric field is perfectly fine and dandy, right? Let's say this person goes on TikTok and they're watching TikTok after TikTok after TikTok about, I hate women, women are bitches, women don't listen, women need to be led, women, you know, right? Or vice versa, I hate men, men are manipulative, men just use women, men, right? So this is their little smart device that they're getting all this information from, right? And this information is coming from all, like a bunch of different sources, but what's really happened through these devices that they want everybody to have, you're getting bombarded by information from everywhere, okay? So think about this as like information or signals from everywhere being programmed into this device. And because we're constantly consumed with these devices, absorbing all this information, now our auric field has been compromised. we now have an entity attachment, okay? So we'll use the green marker to represent. So you've consumed all this content, all this information. Remember, you are a blank computer. So you're not going to feel any type of way about anything until you start absorbing this information, right? So if the only thing that is pouring into your algorithm feed on TikTok is men are awful, men are awful, men are awful, men are awful, or women are hoes, women are bitches, women are gold diggers. You know, if that's all you're consuming, eventually you're going to shape a perception in your head, an inorganic program, a false program. This false program is represented by an energy, okay, or a parasite. Think about this now that your mind has been incepted with this information. Here's your head right here, right? Filling in your head with the green stuff, okay? Meaning like this ideology, this false perception, this narrative is only an energy, okay? So energy, okay, how can I explain this? This energy that you've taken on can also come in the form of a spirit or an entity. What is a spirit or entity? It doesn't necessarily have to be anything physical, but it is an energetic, think about like an energetic matter that now is following you around. For example, here's another example. Let's say you go on your smart device and you're being bombarded with content about depression. Here's everything that's wrong with this world. This world is terrible. Children are getting shot up in the classroom. World War III is about to happen. Monkeypox. Everyone's dying. We're doomed. We're furfed, right? And this is all you're consuming in this phone. It is filling up your mind. Now you have a false perception of what reality is because you've programmed your physical vessel, which is the organic computer. You've programmed your physical vessel with this false ideology. And so this causes your vibration to lower. This is important. Now I know sometimes in the spiritual community, people can get triggered when we're talking about vibration, right? How everyone's like, oh, I'm only allowed to be high vibe. I can only be high vibe. Well, there's a reason for that, right? When you're high vibration, it's harder for these entities to incept you, okay? So when your vibration goes down, think about it as your defense mechanism going down. When your vibration is low, your defense, your auric field is low. When your auric field or your defense is low, these entities that are just lingering around, these low vibrational entities, when your vibration goes down, let's say this person, they're viewing this information on TikTok, it's making them extremely sad about the information they're consuming. Their vibration is now going low. When your vibration is low, these entities, they're already vibrating at a low frequency. When your vibration is high, when you're vibrating high, they cannot latch onto you because they are not a match. They're not a match to you. They can't latch onto you. But as soon as your vibration starts to drop, you are now vibrational match to these energies, these entities, these parasites, and now they can infiltrate, incept, and latch onto you. Okay, and so why am I saying all this? I realized that after, first of all, you'll go into a rabbit hole, right? You think you're spending like 10 minutes on TikTok and then like 3 hours goes by. This is all, there's a reason for all of this. The longer they can keep you on these apps, the longer they can keep you on these websites, that's programming time. Think about like the kids in school. The kids are staying in school for, I don't know, like 8 hours a day, right? That is 8 hours of programming. Okay? If you're on your phone for 8 hours a day and you're constantly receiving information from all of these people who have these entity attachments, your vibration gets lower, meaning your defense mechanism is getting lower. You're no longer allowed, or you're no longer able to defend your mind from these low vibrational thoughts. You are able to be incepted. Okay, that's why they want you on your phone all day long, because you don't think for yourself. You're an empty blank computer getting programs downloaded into you, and these programs are not for your highest and greatest good. Now your mind is all furfed up. You have a false perception of the way the world works. You see everybody looking at them sideways because you can't trust them, because all the information you've consumed has taught you that you can't trust men, and you can't trust women, and you can't trust the government, and you can't, and you can't, and you can't, and you can't, and you can't. And now you have a perception, a false perception, inorganic perception of the way you think the world works. And now you're running on an inorganic program that has you acting in a way that is out of alignment with the natural state of being that you are meant to be at, because you've been incepted by these lower vibrational entities. And it's all energy. So after you're on TikTok for hours and hours and hours, and you wonder why you feel low vibe, you wonder why you feel drained, because you have had entities latch onto you. They've seeped through your auric field. You have holes in your perception through the programming you've installed in yourself. And now these entities are able to work through you, okay? What people understand is, when you have the entity attachment, when you have the spirit of depression following you, when you have the spirit of lust following you, when you have the spirit of confusion following you, it's following you because, when your vibration is low, you can no longer mentally defend yourself. You're believing and buying into these inorganic programs. And it makes it easier and easier and easier for these low vibrational energies and entities to latch onto you. Okay? So, and the same works. So get this. Even if we're not talking about social media and what comes through your phone, get this. It happens the same way when you're dealing and interacting with low vibrational people, right? So take the phone out of the situation, because a lot of y'all won't even admit that you're gaining all types of ridiculous mindsets and ideology through your phone, through watching TikTok or on Facebook, wherever you get your information from, right? You won't admit it, but I know it's true. Because sometimes I'll be on TikTok watching some of this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, these men out here are terrible. Or, oh my God, this government is terrible. Oh my God, this matrix is corrupt. You know, like, I will really start to think this way because of all the information that is shaping and molding my perception. It's all meant to be divisive, so that we do not stand together, stick together, believe in unity consciousness and oneness consciousness. If we're at war with each other, we will never turn our eyes to the powers that were, who are causing all of the chaos and destruction. We'll just fight each other until we die, and then the powers that were will still be on top. Okay? I digress. Same thing happens. Take social media out the matter. Let's say this is you, right? And let's say you have a friend, and your friend, I don't know, what do you want your friend's problem to be? Your friend is an alcoholic. Your friend is addicted to smoking marijuana. Your friend is, I don't know, your friend is gay on the low, and so they're terrible to women, but they don't want women to know that they don't really like them, so they just, you know, like, whatever. Your friend's got a problem. Your friend has an entity attachment, and your friend probably got this entity attachment by being low vibrational. Their auric field was low, so they were incepted, and now they're walking around with a false ideology. Their mind has been programmed with some type of false ideology that has them thinking whatever jacked up way that's inorganic to the natural state of how they're meant to be, right? So they've got this entity attachment. You, by associating with this person, it's all energy. Whatever energy they have on them can now come to you. This is how it works. You ever met somebody who's like having a really bad day, and they're driving around in their car and they're just being reckless, right? And they cut people off on the interstate, right? That's an energy on them. And then like they cut somebody off and it makes the person upset. Now they're like, F you, why are you driving so recklessly, right? That energy that was on them of being impatient, of being selfish, has now jumped onto the other person who's in traffic, and now that person has the energy on them as well. Now they're pissed and upset because someone almost ran them off the road. Now they're driving around with this energy, with this parasite that is now on them, and then they go home to their family right? This is their house. They go home to their family. There's the wife and the children at home, right? And they take that funky energy. They come in the house, they slam the door, they talk shit to their wife, they talk shit to their children. Now the entity has now jumped onto them. It's all energy, okay? You don't even have to physically touch somebody for the energy to jump on you. When your vibration is low, you can be incepted by the energy, okay? Do you understand? So this is happening on a mass scale with the cell phones and the smartphones and the devices and being connected to the World Wide Web. So you have to be the gatekeeper of your mind and be conscious of what kind of information you're consuming on the internet. I'm not saying the energy or the internet is to blame. I love the internet. You need to be wise about what you're watching on the internet, right? Because if you're on the internet learning about financial literacy, financial freedom, or how to start a business, how to improve yourself, right? The energy that will attach to you is the energy of self-improvement, right? Self-transformation. That's a positive energy that you would want to jump on you, right? But if all you're doing on the internet is, I don't know, watching mindless, dummy information, watching people steal on the internet, watching people just be ignorant and say ignorant things because you think it's comical and you don't think it's having an effect on the way that you see the world or view the world, you are being incepted. And when you are incepted, you can rub that inceptive nature onto other people. You get infected, you're infecting other people. Other people are infected, they're infecting you with energy. Okay? And people don't care about that. They don't care about energy because they can't see energy. But let me tell you this. Energy cannot be seen at first, but then you will begin to see the physical remnants of the energy that people have. You will. Let me see if I can give you an example of this. I don't know, let's say somebody has a spiritual parasite or energetic parasite, and the energy is of having like an alcohol addiction or something like that, right? And so that energy is on them, right? You might not be able to physically see it on the outside, but over time that energy will begin to wear that person down, and you'll be able to physically see the person look worn because of the burden of the energy that they're carrying. And it's not good energy in that case, right? Which also, like, good or bad is relative and subjective when it comes to energy. Because energy is just energy. It's what people do with the energy, right? But when we talk about these spiritual parasites, those are definitively, I don't even want to say positive or negative, but like an evil entity, I don't think one would perceive that as a positive thing, right? A positive entity, I don't think one would perceive that as a negative thing. So, I don't know. I hope this video makes sense. I guess I'm saying all this to say just be mindful of what you're consuming on the internet. And I'm saying this and you'll probably still watch what you want to watch, and that's your business. But, yeah. Okay. Try not to be incepted out there by that energy. By these spiritual parasites that are body snatching through the cell phone. So be careful of what you're watching and what you're consuming. And always try to transmute the energy, right? Before you try and go out and re-perpetuate the trauma or the trigger or whatever, try and transmute it. Because if you don't, that energy will bounce off of you and onto the next person, onto the next person. It's like if somebody has a cold or the flu or something, right? And they cough on somebody and then the next person gets sick. It's the same thing when someone has like negative energy on them. Just being around them, it can transfer onto you. Even if you're not physically next to them, listening to the content of somebody who has been compromised can make you compromised as well. Okay? That is all.